Y mire esto, el corresponsal de la cadena de noticias CNN, Ripley, compartió su travesía que vivió al realizar un viaje internacional en medio de la pandemia. Platica cómo su traslado de Tokio, Japón, a Hong Kong, que antes le tomaba unas 5 horas, ahora le tomó al menos 20 horas. Esta es su crónica.
After 3.5 months, I'm leaving Japan, heading back to Hong Kong, and I'm doing something that most people are not doing right now, which is traveling internationally. And to see Narita Airport, normally incredibly busy all the time, like this, it's surreal. I was the only passenger checking in for my flight. I have no idea how many people are going to be on board. I was told that once I go through security, all the lounges, all the restaurants, all the stores are closed. So I have this little voucher here if I want to grab something before I go in. But my flight is leaving in 45 minutes, so I'm going to skip the meal, get to the gate, and let's see what the flight is like. Have a look at that. This is the first time I've ever seen a boarding gate look like this. So I made it to the flight. This is one of 3 flights per week, they tell me. And it's flying with 109 passengers. The capacity is well over 400, so about a fourth of the capacity. It's easy to see why airlines are struggling so much right now. How do you sustain an airline, keep an airport open when so few people are traveling? One of the great things about flying to Hong Kong in normal times is if you're a resident, you just scan your card, go right through, no forms to fill out. Not anymore. Obviously, these are not normal times. You have to fill out a health declaration form, and then there's this compulsory quarantine order. So basically, you have to quarantine for 14 days. Thank you very much. After you arrive. Thanks for the orange juice. High vitamin C, good for your immune system. What that means is that wherever I tell the government that I'm staying, I cannot leave that premises. I can't even step outside the door for 14 days. That's how strict Hong Kong is with this quarantine. Unlike here in Japan, where they basically request that you self-isolate, but there's nobody actually enforcing it. In Hong Kong, if you break the quarantine, you could go to jail, theoretically. I am now off my flight and heading to the location where we're all going to get tested for coronavirus. Because we've arrived at a certain hour of the day, they can't process the tests today, so we'll have to overnight at another location afterwards, wait for our test results, and then if we test negative, then we'll begin our compulsory quarantine. Anybody who has ever flown into the airport in Hong Kong, which is a hub for this part of the world, to see it looking like this is just insane. It really does underscore the unprecedented situation that we are in right now. Well, it is safe to say that this is a first for me. This is an electronic wristband, you know, the kind that they use to monitor people who are under house arrest. I've never been under house arrest, so, you know, first time for everything. But I have to wear this for the next 14 days because that's how the government's going to track my location. I have to say, I just left the airport. It was very well organized. I filled out paperwork. I had to download an app for my phone that's going to allow them to track me during my compulsory quarantine, which you can see here from this paperwork. It ends at midnight on May 27th. So between now and then, I need to get tested for COVID-19. This shuttle bus is going to take me to that location now. So I've been given this bag. This is my COVID-19 test that I'm going to administer on myself. I'm going to take a sample of my own saliva. Right now I'm watching a video that's teaching us how to take the test, and then we have to go over to a booth over that way and do this. little over 3.5 hours after I landed in Hong Kong, I'm now at my next stop, a hotel room provided by the Hong Kong government, where I will now sit and wait for a phone call on that phone, hopefully telling me that I tested negative, in which case then I can begin my compulsory 14-day quarantine. If I test positive or it's inconclusive, then I have to get an ambulance and go to the hospital. This room key got me in the room, but it only works once. So once I'm in, I can't leave. And that's gonna be the same for my quarantine as well. This wristband, once I activate it, even if I step outside the door, it'll notify the police and the health authorities. They just left breakfast outside my door. There's actually no contact with the person who drops it off. Basically, I'm committing carbicide right now. But at least they're feeding us. The earliest I can get my test result is 11 a.m., which is like in 2.5 hours. And I might have to wait until 3 p.m., which is like 7 hours almost. So it could be a while hanging out in my humble abode. I'm not nervous about testing positive for coronavirus because I don't think I have it. I've been self-isolating in Japan. I take my temperature twice a day. It's 96.5 Fahrenheit, which is less than 36 Celsius. So if I do test positive, I will be freaking surprised. And also wonder if maybe it's a false positive, because I haven't had any symptoms whatsoever. But you know, that's the thing with coronavirus, like a lot of people are asymptomatic and have no clue they have it. So I'm not nervous, I am curious, and I kind of want to get out of here, but I just have to wait, basically. Hello? Hi. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Just kidding. Negative. I get to go home. Finally heading home. What used to be a 5-hour trip before coronavirus now turned into a 21-hour trip, plus the next 2 weeks in home quarantine. But I'm grateful that I am home. I'm grateful that life in Hong Kong actually continues relatively normally. So after I finish this quarantine, I will be able to go out, hike, maybe even go to a restaurant, do the kind of things that I haven't been doing for the last several months.
Bueno, pues así la odisea de este periodista de CNN que es residente en Hong Kong y estaba de trabajo en Japón y bueno, pues un vuelo de 5 horas se convirtió en algo de 21 horas.